Good morning, everyone. It is so great to see you this morning. My name is Michelle Shaw. I am with Minneapolis Edible Boulevards, and we're so glad to have you here with our class that we're going to be doing with Derek Nicolas. This morning, this class is being co-sponsored by the East Phillips Improvement Coalition and also the East Side Food Co-op. So we're so grateful for their sponsorship. Just before we get started here, we always start with the land acknowledgement. We here in Minneapolis are on the land of the Dakota people in the state of Minnesota. We are on the land of the Ho-Chunk, the Dakota, and the Ojibwe people. And so we just want to think about our ancestors and the stewardship that they have done, and also about the people that are still here today, our Indigenous people, like Derek, who we are going to be learning from in just a couple minutes. So, like I said, we're so glad to have you here today to be learning with Derek. Um, and he has got some great stories, as always, to share. So that is going to be exciting. Like I said, I have an initiative called Minneapolis Edible Boulevards. We teach people how to grow food safely on their boulevards here in Minneapolis. That's something that just got changed into law back in March. So we can grow food, we can grow fruit shrubs on our boulevards. We can also have raised beds. So that's what the ordinance changed there, which we worked on for 6 years and are happy that that finally got passed. And then we also offer these free cooking classes throughout our kind of the garden seasons. So we want to make sure that they're free and accessible for everyone. So if you're not able to come right now and you're seeing this at a later time, we're happy to have you then too. And we also have our plant-based directory coming out in January. So if you know anyone who has a vegan friendly business that is an entrepreneur who is BIPOC or LGBTQ plus or woman owned, please let us know because we would really like to have them included in that. So without further ado, I am going to pass it over to Derek. Derek has been doing these classes with us for the last few years, and Derek has an LLC business. Derek can tell us more about that, called Wissenig, and also is the nutrition coordinator at the Division of Indian Work. So, Derek, I'm going to pass it on to you so we can get going on this delicious dish I know you have in store for us.
Thank you, Michelle. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me once again. It's always a privilege to be here and to kind of talk about some important foods to not only me, but the community that I'm a part of. I'm right up Cliff Band, Ojibwe, which is like a reservation in northern Wisconsin, which would be Ojibwe or Anishinaabe. And I'm the founder of Wisnig LLC, which is an educational platform that really focuses on revitalizing indigenous food systems amongst tribal communities and allies as well. And a lot of the ways that we kind of facilitate this education is through culturally relevant workshops, whether it's working on medicines, doing a cooking demo, doing arts, music, whatever that may look like. But then also the formation of different educational resources, whether it's videos, books, and whatnot. So I recently just published a book called Through Food We Know Ourselves, which is a Anishinaabe restorative cookbook that explores the deep connection between identity and food, and often showcases a lot of different recipes as well. So today we'll be going over like a polenta, which is kind of like some corn meal that's kind of cooked up, and you can make it like real creamy depending on what you put in there. And it's just like a very versatile dish because you can just kind of change it to however you're feeling for that day, whether you want something more sweet or savory. So today we'll be making a vegan style polenta and make it in a more savory way. Just last week I was over in Fond du Lac Reservation doing like a dessert polenta where it was kind of like cooking that polenta and some like lemons and some cinnamon with some like boiled blueberries on top, and it was a pretty big hit. So if anyone has any questions while we go along, just feel free to just speak up and share any questions that you may have, and I'd be happy to answer them in regards to anything. So the first step to the recipe is starting to get the water boiling. We're gonna want to get that polenta going first. So if we can all get some water in our pots, I think everyone has the recipe. So I think just kind of adjust it to how many people you're cooking for. I think
I'll share the rest. Sorry, Derek. I'll share the recipe. They have the grocery list, but not necessarily the recipe. So I can share that in the chat here.
okay. I mean, I can say it out loud. So the recipe that I have is for about 4 people. So you can bring like 3 cups of water up to a boil. And you want to get that water boiling first because if you put in the cornmeal right away, it's not gonna kind of turn out how you want it. It's gonna get like really clumpy and not like a nice texture. So you can just put the water in the pot, bring it up to a high setting, and you could even salt the water first. So you can just add a little bit of salt to the water if you'd like. And this will just give it a little additional flavor, but then it also kind of some people say it helps boil faster. I don't know if that's true or not, but obviously if you put the lid on it, it'll boil faster. I was like on a cooking competition one time, and it's taking like the other contestant was trying to boil some water, and it was taking her forever. She was asking if I had the same struggle. I was like, well, maybe if you put your top on, put the lid on, it'll boil faster. So the vegetables we'll be using today are mushrooms, onions, tomatoes, and beans and spinach. So we're gonna want to get like the root vegetables kind of chopped up first. So these onions, they can just be chopped up however you like. So the way that I chop the onions is I chop off the root part first. So this would be where the root's coming out of, and this would be the stem. So I kind of just chop the root off, and then I'll slice it in half, and then so that's what it kind of look like from here. And then I'd peel off that skin. You can save those skins for making good vegetable stock. So I highly recommend that for people that are trying to reduce their food waste. Kind of save all your scraps, whether you're like peeling carrots, save those carrot scraps or carrot tops or celery tops. And if you don't think you have enough to make vegetable stock right away, you can always just put them in a bag, stick them in the freezer, and then you can come back to another date with all your vegetable scraps, and then you can make a nice vegetable stock, and you're not wasting any of those extra nutrients. Oh, Don used to do that. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great way to be resourceful in the kitchen. Um, yeah, I'm happy to hear that.
Hey,
So
Derek.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm a little behind. So what did you say about we get the grits going on the stove, and then do we wait for it to boil and then put the lid on and turn it down? Or
no, we're just gonna put the water in the pot and turn it to
okay,
a high heat and put the lid on. So we're just boiling the water initially for the first step.
okay, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So when we're cutting the onions, you can kind of do it however you want. If you want to go like a little bit more rustic, you can chop them into like bigger pieces, like sizes like this. Otherwise, if you want it to be like a very much more I don't even know how you would go about how would you say it or articulate it. Otherwise, you can like do a fine mince, and that would kind of just make it more could cook faster. But you would want like everything else to be uniformed. Like you would want the mushrooms to be the same size and the tomatoes to be the same size. So today I'm just gonna kind of just cut it like rustic, just kind of like larger pieces. So it can just be kind of like that size. How's everybody doing? Thumbs up. Sweet. So these are just I'm just gonna do two of these small onions. I'm a big onion guy, so you kind of just put in whatever you kind of have a liking for. And these are some pretty strong onions too. These were growing over up in my reservation over in Red Cliff. So we have a tribal garden called Minot Bimatazewin Kitaganing, which translates to like the Good Life Garden. So these were gifted to me. I was up there doing a food demo. Yeah, I think it was last weekend.
Yeah, I was wondering how many people here had grown some of the vegetables that we're using today, like some of the tomatoes or onions, spinach, if anybody.
These are kids. Okay, read that. So the onions and the mushrooms have a very similar cooking time. I have some of those like pre-sliced uh, pre-sliced mushrooms, but they're kind of big, so I might kind of chop them up a little bit more. So you can put those onions and the mushrooms in the same bowl. And you got to keep in mind the mushrooms will definitely shrink a little bit when you start cooking them down, but yeah, so will the onions. So mushrooms would be one of those. Both these ingredients would be something that you could actually forage, and if you wanted to make it more of like an indigenous style. So, for example, for the onions, we have a couple different kinds of wild onions. The most noticeable ones, or most recognizable ones, are ramps, which are also sometimes called wild leeks. And they're like one of the first vegetables that come up in the springtime, and you can harvest like one leaf, and that's going to kind of be a sustainable way to harvest them, because a lot of ramps are over harvested by foragers just because it's something that's so delicious, but then it's also kind of a way that people get introduced to foraging. Like, oh, let's go harvest some ramps. So if you harvest just one leaf, they shoot off two leaves. If you harvest just one leaf, they'll actually be able to go to seed and then be able to reproduce. A lot of people just dig the whole thing up because the bulb is like where a lot of the flavor is. Elias loves foraging. Heck yeah, that's awesome. Everyone should be foraging. So that's what I got in this bowl. Some of those chopped onions and chopped mushrooms, just a rough chop. So here the water is boiling. So everyone's water boiling.
Not quite yet. Hopefully soon.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Well, I'll just demonstrate this when you guys get to there, kind of do. So when you're adding the cornmeal, you're gonna want to whisk it in, and you're gonna want to move it pretty fast. But you don't want to just dump all the cornmeal at one time. If you do that, it's just gonna get like very clumpy. So you just kind of want to like slowly like shake it in, drizzle it in, and whisk as you go. And this is like essential to make a nice creamy polenta. Yeah, I wish I had a better whisk. I keep all my good tools at work, so I rarely cook at home. There's probably some having like a metal whisk would be a lot nicer. So if you're following the recipe, I have 1 cup of cornmeal. So the more cornmeal you add, the thicker it's gonna turn out. So some people will make like polenta like fries. Or they'll make it like super thick, kind of like let it cool down and then cut it into the fry shapes. And then kind of maybe even put like a little bit more like an outside coating, maybe like some flour or whatnot, and then fry it and turn it into like a French fry. And when the stuff starts cooking, like it's gonna cook the corn and it's gonna like also like thicken it up. But then when it cools down, it'll absorb some more of that liquid and thicken up as well. So when you're like making polenta, it kind of takes like a little bit of finesse and experience to kind of learn like how you want to get that texture to turn out to be. So like you can always just add more polenta if needed. So right now I'm gonna turn down this heat. I'm gonna turn it down to a low and just kind of let it simmer. And then if I need to add more polenta, thicken it up,
Did you
then
put
I'll
the?
fix it later.
Are we supposed to be mixing in the onions and the mushrooms along with the polenta?
No, you're gonna be cooking those separately, and
Got
we'll
it.
get into that real soon.
Okay.
Is it okay if we're unmuted? It's just a lot easier than typing.
Yeah, please, yeah. I can't even really read the chat anyhow. All right. So this is what my polenta is looking like right now. I put the camera. So it's getting kind of thick like that.
Mm-hmm.
And once when I move it off the heat, it's going to thicken up even more. So right now, I'd say this consistency kind of looks like applesauce, like a store-bought applesauce. So this is what I'm happy with. I'm gonna actually just take the whole thing off the hot area, and I'm just gonna put the lid on, and I trust that this will thicken up some, and if not, I can always add more.
Yay.
So now we can start cooking those mushrooms and those onions. So I'm gonna start turning on the burner for this cast iron pot I have here. So we can just put it to a medium high heat initially, and then put in some oil, and we'll be using some olive oil today. So go grab that. So you can just add about like a tablespoon of olive oil, just enough to cover the bottom of your pan or your pot, whatever you're using. And we'll let this come up to temperature before you put the vegetables in. So if we put the vegetables in right now, they'll all the vegetables will really absorb up the olive oil, and it'll just have like an overwhelming olive oil taste. Whereas if the oil is already hot and then we put in the vegetables, we'll get the nice sear on the vegetables, get like that nice color, but then all that oil flavor won't be like seeping into the vegetables too much.
Did you get the oil yet?
No, I didn't put the oil in yet. It's not even hot yet.
Sorry, what heat should we have the tomatoes and the vegetables on? Like medium, high?
Yeah, like a medium high.
Okay.
So right now I have like it getting to like I have it at a 7 out of 10 or whatever. So once when it gets hot, I put it in, and if it's too hot, you can always just lower the temperature.
All the mushrooms are gone. Okay, and we're right at the mark.
I love polenta, so I was really excited to see that that's what you were cooking today.
Yeah, well, what's your favorite way to enjoy it?
Oh gosh. I make it, I like fry it, I guess.
Fry-
Yeah, my kids will just pick it up and just eat it like that.
Kind of like a polenta cake kind of
Yeah,
situation.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
those are
right.
good.
A polenta cake, yes, that's exactly.
That's good.
I tried making fries once, but I was not successful.
It turned out just they just
Sure.
didn't like hold their shape.
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah.
Are they supposed to be diced?
Um,
Are the tomatoes supposed to be diced?
Yeah, so if you did everything as like a fine dice, you can follow suit with the tomatoes. Otherwise, if you're going with the rustic, you can just do some long slices of the tomatoes.
Dawn, you can check out our website. We've got all of our cooking classes on there. And in the spring, or one of our first cooking classes, Kelly Shea, one of our other longtime collaborators, did one like that. That was super easy and really good with collard greens.
oh, I love collard greens. Thank you.
Yeah, so check
We
that
don't,
out.
I appreciate that you're doing this as a Zoom call because we don't live in the cities. And it takes so much of our day to drive all the way there and all the way back. So this is so nice. I really appreciate it.
They're always on Zoom.
Nice.
Where are you located?
We're in Lindstrom, which
Okay,
is
right on.
about an hour north of the cities,
Roughly.
roughly. Yeah.
I'm heading over to Wild River State Park today. Just,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Yeah, we're like, what, 10 minutes from there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we used to live in Forest Lake, so I
Oh,
played softball when I was a kid in Lindstrom.
nice. Our kids go to school in Forest Lake at the Language Academy at Lila.
Oh, awesome.
So, you can put the vegetables in when the oil's hot enough. So, like, one way to check is just to put like a little bit of water on your finger and then just like flick it in there. And if it starts to sizzle, you know that you got the right temperature. Otherwise, you can just put like one little onion piece in there and it starts to like bubble up. You're good. So, mine's hot enough. So, I'm just gonna put all my vegetables in.
Just eye it.
Derek, does that include the beans?
Not yet. We're gonna want to cook these mushrooms and onions down first
Okay.
before we put the beans in. So yeah, right now it's just the mushrooms and onions in my bowl. And I like to season as I go. So I'm just add a little bit of black pepper and a little bit of salt as well to those mushrooms and onions. And I'm gonna give it a little stir.
Okay.
So believe it or not, you know, thousands of years ago, Native Americans used to be making polenta as well. We wouldn't call it polenta. We'd call it like a madamen, which would be like our word for corn. So corn actually comes from the Americas. So I carry corn seeds that are over 2 to 3 thousand years old. And a dish that we would most commonly make would be what we refer to as corn mush. So the way we would actually make that is by pounding our corn in a butag, and so that's this right here,
Oh,
this tool. So this is called yellow birch. So it's one of the birch trees we have here in Minnesota. We have like river birch, white birch, yellow birch, and yellow birch is getting more and more difficult to find. And then you make a little fire on top of the log, and that fire is actually kind of cooking down the wood a little bit, and then you take an adze, which is like a form of chisel, and you chip away at it until you have this big old hollowed out section.
Yeah.
And then it's like a big old mortar and pestle. So this is like made out of maple, and you just put your corn down in here, and you start pounding down that corn until you turn it into a flour. And then from that flour, you can make your corn mush or your polenta.
How
Here's some
long
other
does
things I
that
got
take?
drying out. I got some wild rice I haven't finished processing yet. Here's some high bush cranberries. These are ready now. And some rose hips that are also drying out.
Derek, how long does it take to make that corn mush?
Oh, the corn, like the make that dish.
To do the corn mush, to do that whole process.
So like to making that like the tool or just
Yeah, yep.
You put the salt on top.
to make that whole boutagan, it can take some time because I mean you have to go find a yellow birch tree. So first you got to go find the tree, and then you got to chop down the tree, and then you got to chip it out with an adze and make the handle. So it can take a couple days. Yeah, and then you burn it out. So that's why the inside is all black. Oops, it's just left the meeting. And this is actually like curing the wood. So it's like making this food safe. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Wow, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe next time for one of the in-person classes we can pull that thing out. It's fun. It's fun to get kids like learn how to pound it in that way.
Okay, go ahead.
How long does it take you to make like a cup of corn or cornmeal?
You can do it like in like a minute or two. Yeah, you can do it pretty quick. I would show you right now, but I don't want to be a nuisance to my neighbors. I live in an apartment, so there's people below me, and it would, yeah, especially on the weekend, people still might be trying to sleep. So now since these mushrooms and these onions have started to cook down, they're not all the way cooked down, but this would be an okay time to add the tomatoes. So I'm gonna throw those tomatoes in. If you already threw them in, nope, no problem.
Let's just say we're ahead of the curve right now.
Yeah, that's what you- So I just kind of threw in some bigger slices. I'm just gonna keep mine more rustic today. I like my really good knife is at work. I can't really get a good dice with my current knives. So you can keep that heat on like a medium high. We're really gonna want to like sweat them down, cook them down in that way. So this is what my polenta is looking like. I'll show it to you guys. So it's pretty thick, and one good way to tell if it's good is that if you turn it to the side, it'll start to see how it just broke off the side like that.
Yeah.
It's still holding its form. So that's for me. I'm happy with that. So I'm just gonna lead the lid on, and it's gonna thicken up a little bit more, which is gonna be good because we're gonna add in olive oil and a little bit of non-dairy milk. Just kind of make it a little bit more creamy and thin it out a little bit. So I guess like while we're letting that stuff cook down, we can start working on the beans. So I just have some canned beans. If you don't if you don't have canned beans, you're gonna be kind of out of luck for beans because beans just take forever to cook. Just gonna
Derek, do you rinse your beans and do you rinse your your mush?
the cornmeal I don't rinse, but I am rinsing the beans. It's like sitting in all these juices. So I keep rinsing them until all like the bubbles go away. So as you're rinsing them, you'll just see them like some kind of like almost get like foamy, like all this foam right here.
There we go.
So I got those bubbles. I'll just keep rinsing them until that's like no more.
Okay, and it's a cup of beans, right?
I had, yeah, in the recipe I have 2 cups, but and since these like beans are already cooked and then the spinach cooks super fast, we'll put this like right in at the end once we know that all of our vegetables are cooked to the temperature we like it.
So Derek, I know you showed us the high bush cranberries. What else right now is out there for foraging?
Yep. So there's definitely like the hazelnuts are still around. So you can get the American hazelnuts and the beaked hazelnuts. They're both native. And rose hips, they're still available. Juniper berries, hackberries, high bush cranberries, low bush cranberries, creeping snowberry. Also, like in the fall time, that's like a good time to go harvest your roots. So there's a lot of edible roots, like some people call like wild potatoes. So those would also be good time to harvest them now. Yeah. Obviously, you want to get them before the ground freezes over. Otherwise, you're not going to have any luck digging them up. And that's other than that, I think there's probably a little bit more I just can't think of right now. But then there's a bunch of like medicines out available too, which that you wouldn't use for food. Oh yeah, even like wild beans, like the beach, like there's like wild beans and wild peas. Those would be good to harvest now as well.
Okay, yeah, and I was writing in the chat too that we're hoping, based on funding, that we'll have a couple of foraging classes with you next year. So one in the spring and one in the fall. So we can learn all that with hands-on experiences.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Good. So you could take a fork and just see how those mushrooms are cooked. It's pretty easy to tell if the onions are cooked because once they become transparent, they're cooked through. And then I guess the mushrooms are just more by bite feel. So for me, everything's like right there. So now, before we add the beans and the spinach, we can add some balsamic vinegar. And the reason why you want to do this now is because then it'll like cook down a little bit and thicken up, kind of create like a little bit more of like a sauce. And you can also add the garlic powder as well. So I'd say add the garlic powder modestly. So as you like see, like my pan was like a little bit more dry, so now this balsamic vinegar, it's gonna kind of like it's gonna bubble up. It's hard to see because it's yeah, can't really help the steam right here. But this balsamic vinegar is like bubbling up, and what it's doing is like it's reducing. So the flavor is intensifying, and it's also like thickening. So it's gonna become a little bit more like a sauce. And yeah, now we can just add a little bit of garlic powder. Add it modestly. Add a little bit too much, it's gonna really overpower everything. And you can always add more, but taking away can be a little difficult.
So for those of us needing the recipe part of it, it looks like about 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar and half a teaspoon of garlic powder. But if we're able to do it by taste or sight, we can just kind of do it that way.
Yeah, I would say do 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar.
2?
Yeah, just to be safe. 3 might be too.
Okay.
3 seems like sounds like a lot. I might have made a
Okay.
typo.
Does half teaspoon of garlic
We
powder sound good?
Yeah, that should be fine.
Awesome.
we did 3 of the vinegar because we were just reading the recipe.
Oh, it should be fine. It should be fine.
You can let us know how it is.
Yes.
So if you like draw by your spoon, like on the bottom of it, like you don't want that oil or like the vinegar not to like fill it back up right away. So that's how you. If it's like slowly starts centering back in, that's how you know it's getting fixed. I'll try to demonstrate that. So like if I just push my spoon, it's just slowly closing back in.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like in the thick stage that we want. So now I'm gonna lower the heat pretty low, and I'm gonna add the beans and the spinach, and let those cook down. And when those beans and spinach comes in, you can add a little bit more salt and pepper.
How much spinach?
I don't think we have any.
Yeah, I'm a big spinach guy. I grew up watching Popeye, so
He's awesome.
you know what?
Popeye's awesome.
Yeah, right. I always make a joke that he wasn't really eating spinach; he was eating nettles, because nettles are like a superfood, and I do a lot of nettle workshops.
Oh, you love, yeah. Elias likes nettles. He makes tea from them. It's good for the digestion, is that right?
Just about everything.
Just about everything.
Yep. We use it a lot for like anti-inflammatories. So a lot of elders will use it for arthritis and stuff like that.
Mhm.
My
Elias,
parents,
have you played around much with comparing woodland nettles with stinging nettle?
I only have stinging nettle in the area.
Okay.
So yeah, no, but I've not done the woodland one.
I always like to
Derek,
gauge people's interest to see if they had a preference.
Derek, we have a question about the beans.
Yep.
What kind of white beans did you use?
They're like the white navy beans. Great northern beans, which I think are the same as the white navy.
Okay. I got cannellini beans.
That should be fine. Yeah, they're pretty similar. I think it's like one of those things, like where they say like chickpeas and garbanzo beans, they're the exact same bean. Just
Yeah,
I don't know why they.
we have both. We have a mixture of the 2 of those.
Okay.
Okay.
The northern and the cannellini.
Awesome.
There's a little bit of a size difference, but they look the same. Otherwise,
And do they taste kind of the same as well?
I think so. Yeah.
So now like all the vegetables are in and pretty much cooked. So I'm just gonna give it a little taste test and see if it needs any more seasonings.
Do we have the milk at the end?
What you said.
Yep, that's gonna go in with the polenta. So
Okay.
we'll do that right at the end.
This smells really good.
Vinegary.
Mine tastes good. I had some elderberry balsamic vinegar at home. It brought out like a nice flavor in that.
Did you make it?
No, it was a gift. I'll show you the bottle. It wouldn't be too hard to make, but it's from Seca Hills, which is a native-owned brand over in California.
Okay.
Yeah, they have like a really nice elderberry balsamic vinegar. It goes great with like salads or even if you're doing like a charcuterie board or something like that.
Yum.
All right, so I'm happy with how mine taste. And then here we got the polenta, and we can season that a little bit with some salt and pepper. I salted my water when I was cooking my polenta, so I won't need too much salt to add on. So just add a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper. If you have some good olive oil, you can throw that in. So there's like different grades of olive oil. Like this one right here is more for like frying and baking. And then there's also like olive oil that's more meant for like drizzling in like on your food. This is like this one. So if you don't add olive oil, it's not gonna make or break the dish. But I'll just do like a little bit of a drizzle of that over your polenta.
Um, how much olive oil do you put into the polenta?
I just did like a little swirl, so this is what mine's looking like right now. FYI, a little piece of wild rice fell into my polenta,
Okay.
but I'm gonna stir this up, and then I'm gonna add like a little bit of that non-dairy milk. So I have some like creamy oat milk, and that's where you want to be careful because you don't want to add too much milk where your polenta becomes like runny.
Okay.
But this is also how you know you have a good polenta is like if everything can just sit on top like that. So
Okay.
all those ingredients are just sitting on top. They're not necessarily like sinking in. So then I'm just gonna stir it in and such.
What do you think about a truffle oil with the polenta?
That would be delicious. I'd go for it.
So a little bit of that and then some salt and pepper. Is that what you did? Or you already salted it before.
Well, I only salted the water. I did add a little bit more salt to my polenta and black pepper, and then I stirred in the olive oil and the the oat milk, the creamy oat milk. So this is what my finished polenta looks like.
Pretty much.
Like nice and thick like that, and then it's also like very creamy. Almost looks like some nice mashed potatoes. And then this is what my vegetables look like.
And our battery's about to give out.
Isaiah, we need to charge
You
it
just keep cooking until all the liquid's absorbed.
right now.
With the vegetables?
Yeah.
No, because the liquid's going to be pretty nice to go with it. But there shouldn't be too much liquids left over because you won't get too much liquid that comes out of the spinach and the beans.
So it's okay to have a little liquid in there?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then to just I'll use a nicer bowl just for presentation purposes.
Are we supposed to be mixing the vegetables in?
I serve them like I put the polenta down in my bowl,
Okay.
and then I top it with the vegetables.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because if that polenta is like thick enough, those vegetables will just sit right on top.
And if everyone's able to take a picture of their final dish and share it on our Facebook page, that would be super awesome.
Will do.
I'll make a post down there so we have a spot for it.
So this is what mine looks like.
Okay.
That looks yummy.
You can even make a little bit fancy and do a little drizzle of olive oil. Look even a little bit nicer. You're trying to be a pro chef.
Oh
Beaver
my.
fat. I got walnut oil, hickory nut oil, acorn oil. You can even use sunflower oil. That's not something we would traditionally make, but can make sunflower oil. So yeah,
Wow.
those are to name a few.
Derek, are there some other foraged ingredients that you might include in something like this? Or you said maybe you could do like a sweet version?
Yep. So to do the savory dish, we can totally make this entire indigenous. So like I was mentioning, we can do the ramps instead of the yellow onions. We can forage wild mushrooms. So like oyster mushrooms, hen of the woods, puffballs, and then there's a bunch of them, chanterelles. So we could do that. For the greens, instead of spinach, we can do another like leafy green, like trout lilies, um, or early curly dock,
Yeah.
even dandelion greens, which aren't native but still abundant.
I'm gonna ask.
We can do native beans, so like domesticated native beans, otherwise like the wild beans. So that would be those would be all easily substituted out. And then for like the sweet dish that I made over in Bongo Lake Reservation the other week, what I did was I took some nut milk, which you can make like hazelnut milk, and I simmer it in lemon rinds and cinnamon sticks, and it just becomes like very fragrant. It kind of gives like that nice cinnamon lemony flavor. And then I'll start stirring in the cornmeal, and then you can add some maple syrup, and you can like cook down some wild blueberries, and then use that as the topping.
Awesome.
didn't-
That sounds delicious.
I didn't know puffballs were edible.
Yep. Hmm.
Huh.
Well, you got to get them when they're white though, because if they're brown, then it's like used for medicine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Can someone put Derek's business and book in the chats for us?
Yeah, I can do it. I'm just eating now. I got two free hands.
And, and so I'll be sending out a follow up email to everyone who signed up. In there, it'll have a bunch of links and everything. And yeah, we'll look forward to staying in touch with people as well. It'll have the recipe and uh, also, so we can keep these classes going. We would love to get your feedback about the class. So that'll be in there. And if anyone's able to give to the Max Day, we have that going. So we would love to, if anyone can give any donations, we're doing early give to the Max. So we'll include that as well. Do we have any announcements or anything that we want to share with people for things coming up? Yeah, Derek's book is called Through Food We Know Ourselves. Derek, is that for sale? I know you have some things that are free. Is that one so people can purchase?
Hmm. Yep. So I have physical books available on blurb.com. Also have ebooks available on Google Play Books. Yeah, so it's if you can just Google the title, it's pretty easy to find. Yeah, so this is like more of like a real deal book. I also had 5 years ago when I was in college, I wrote a youth cookbook called Eating with the Seasons on Anishinaabe, Great Lakes region. And that's a seasonal cookbook geared towards youth that incorporates yeah, seasonal recipes, but then also Anishinaabe language and cultural lessons. And the ebooks for that are free. For there's also you can get the softcover copies of that book online as well.
And do you cook
Thank
at a
you.
restaurant?
No, I just kind of go all over the place teaching more like.
Okay.
So I do this kind of cooking every once in a while. Like I said, I have a great partnership with Michelle, and I always love working with her and her initiative, Edible Boulevard. But then also I travel a lot of different tribal communities, Native organizations, and schools, and do a lot of like indigenous old style cooking, where it's like all wild seasonings, all wild game, all wild fruits, vegetables, like kind of like that. I also like go across borders as well. So I was recently over in Botswana, Africa, working with indigenous people out there doing some wild food stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Great.
Yeah, sorry, long-winded. I could have just said no. I don't cook at a restaurant.
I
Derek,
want,
oh, go ahead, Don.
I just want, sorry. I would like you to know that I have a kid over here, 14-year-old, who's very frustrated that I'm taking pictures of what we cooked because he wants a bowl really badly.
Awesome. Derek, do you have any classes coming up at the Seward?
Yep. Next week I'll be at Seward Co-op. I'll be doing a bone marrow class, so I'll be making like a bone marrow tartine,
Yeah.
which is this is a really yummy dish. Yep. So that's happening on I'd like to say this Tuesday or this Wednesday, this upcoming Tuesday or Wednesday.
I got a spoon already.
Okay, great.
Great.
Well,
My husband's from Mexico and he and his mother enjoy bone marrow.
Yes.
Mm.
I do like it. Yes. It's
How
been a
do you
long
guys
time.
typically prepare it?
Well, we would just boil it with vegetables, and it would be like the broth that we would use, kind of like for vegetable soup, and then you sprinkle some lemon lime on it. It's really, really good. But here everyone is vegan, so or almost everyone is vegan. At least the wife is vegan, so we just do vegan.
Right on.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mm.
Are you
Does
guys happy
anyone
with
else?
how this dish turned out? I like how mine did.
It turned out really good. Really, really good.
So delicious. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Does
Really good.
anyone else have questions?
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. It was a great way to spend the morning and a great way to, I can't wait to try mine. I have not been able to try mine yet, but I will give you my review online. I'm sure it's absolutely delicious.
It's great. I really appreciate your time, Derek and Michelle, for giving us this treat this morning and for all the other people who are joining us.
Yeah, thank you all for attending. It's my pleasure to be here with you all, and yeah, I had a good time myself. Hopefully, it's something that you guys can make forward. You know, at home, it's like within your homes, but then also put like your own creative twist on it and your preferences, and that's what it's all about.
Mhm.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much again, Derek. Hopefully, we'll see everybody at one of our foraging classes next year.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice.
Yes.
Yes,
Have
thank
a great
you so
day.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good one. Thank
Bye.
you.